All right, y'all, back at you. And we are officially in hurricane season here in Florida. Hurricane season starts June 1st and runs through December 1st. But we have had some storms outside of that period. But we are officially at the beginning, the start of hurricane season. So we're going to do a couple videos on how we prep for hurricane season and for when we get the big storm. So our first video today is going to be on generators and on fuel storage. And I have two examples of generators here. You can get generators like these, slightly bigger or smaller versions of either of these. And then a third option you can get would be like a whole house generator, which is like a big unit that's installed, on the side of your house somewhere. And those are usually run off of propane or natural gas. You can get them that are run off of diesel, maybe even gasoline. But you'd have to have a lot of fuel storage. Our neighbor actually has one that's run off of diesel, but they have like a couple 100-gallon diesel tank on a trailer that they keep filled up. They also have a tractor and other stuff that they use their diesel fuel for. So, but you have to have a lot of fuel storage if you're going to get a whole house generator that runs off of like a liquid fuel. Then you can get a whole house generator that runs off of propane or natural gas. But we don't have a natural gas service where we live on the island here. And I don't have any appliances that run off propane. So we'd have to get like a big 250 or 500 gallon propane tank just to run the whole house generator. So we kind of just nixed that option. We went with these two. So these have their pluses and minuses. Obviously size makes a difference. So size means that you're going to have a higher. This one's going to put out more watts than this one, but it's going to use way more fuel than this one. This one right here will run like one window unit, a full-size refrigerator, and a couple lights or other little things, and that's about it. This one right here, I'll show you in just a second. We can plug this one into our house. There's a series of things I got to do. But we can plug this one into our house and it'll basically run everything in the house except for the two HVAC units and the water heaters. But it'll run the refrigerators, the extra freezer we have, all the lights, all the ceiling fans, and maybe two or maybe three window units. The trade-off is gasoline consumption. So this one right here, this little one, it can operate at 50% output for 8 hours on just one tank of 1 gallon of gas. Whereas this one, 1 gallon of gas at 50% output will only get you about an hour and a half. And so that's an issue, fuel storage, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But and then another thing is portability. I mean, this one is very portable. I mean, the kids can almost pick this one up. And this one right here is called a portable generator, but it weighs like 220 pounds. It's barely portable. It would take both me and my wife to get it down the stairs and over to where we need to plug it in. So, that's another issue. This one you can just kick on, put it by your door outside, run some electrical cords to it, and boom, you got a window unit running. This one takes some setup, and I'll show you that right now. We'll show you how this works. The family we bought this house from had this all set up when we bought the house, which is nice. So what we have right here, this is the receptacle that it would plug into. But before you do anything, you can plug it in, but before you kick the generator on, we got to make sure that we're not sending power back into the power grid. It can be dangerous for the line workers and everything else. So over here, right here where the power comes in from the road or from the pole to our meter here, the meter runs over to this switch, and I can kill this switch right here, and then we are totally off of the power grid, totally disconnected from the power grid when I kill that switch. And then what I would do is go inside, switch all the breakers off on my breaker boxes that I don't want, that the generator just won't be able to run. So the water heaters, the HVAC units, the generator can't run. So you switch all those off, plug your generator in, and then go ahead and get it going. And that's basically it. That's the setup, and it'll run everything in the house that hasn't been switched off. So like I said, lights, fans, refrigerator, stuff like that. So
and let's go show them the cord, so you can talk about the safety aspect, about how dangerous it can be. That you use to plug in.
Well, the cord, yeah, well, okay. I mean, I have a feeling that maybe, I'm not sure if maybe a different receptacle should have been put on there or something, but we had to have, I had to kind of make this custom cord because, where is it? Right here.
Right here, yeah.
You know, this cord plugs into the generator, I don't know where, somewhere around here. Right, where it is. But anyways, this cord plugs into the generator, right? You plug this cord into the generator and kick your generator on before plugging this into the house, you're gonna have a live, you know, a live end right there, and you can shock yourself. So, and I'm not sure if that was done right or if there should be a male coming out of the house and this should be a female.
I would think a male coming out of the house would be dangerous.
Anyways, this will not if there's
no power.
Run into
Yeah.
it. But anyways, this is what we were left with. So, but anyways, that's how to hook that one up. You know, like I said, this one's easy to hook up. You just pull it on and run some extension cords to it. So if you decide to go with this option, or if you decide to go with the whole house option, then you have a fuel storage issue. Because again, if this one's using 8 gallons of fuel every 12 hours, you know, it's 16 gallons of fuel in 24-hour period, and that's a lot of fuel. I mean, I only have 5 or 6 of these tanks, so that's 30 gallons, 25, 30 gallons. It's only going to get me a day and a half of continuous use on this one. So what we do when there's a named storm is, of course, we go and fill up all of our tanks, and then I actually have a 5-gallon tank for my little boat too. I'll fill that up. But then we also go and top off our big van and our minivan in the garage here, and that serves 2 purposes. One, if we have to leave, we have full tank of gas in both vehicles before the gas stations run out of gas. Second, if we don't have to leave, we determine it's safe to stay. Suddenly I have 25 gallons of fuel in this van and probably another 16 in the other van that I can access for the generator. And what I'll do is we'll run through all of our tanks of gas first, and then I have just a little hand siphon pump to siphon out the gas from the 2 vehicles into the tanks, or just directly, I guess probably into the tank first, then into the generator. So that gives us 40 more gallons of fuel. And we're lucky here in Florida. I mean, we've lived in Florida 6 years, 5, 6 years. We've been through a lot of storms already. We're lucky here. The EMC companies are real good. It's rarely that it's more than 2-3 days before we get our power back on. And then other EMC companies from surrounding states, Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, they send EMC crews down here too. So, I mean, you'll see crews all over the place. And these guys work night and day to get our power back on. So usually 2 to 3 days and we got our power back on. And so that's kind of, you know, I have between the 2 vans and all my tanks, I have about 2 or 3 days of fuel before I start running into trouble. And you know, the problem is the gas stations, you know, even if they don't run out of fuel, if they don't have power, their pumps aren't going to work down here. And where we live, there's only 1 gas station within 10 miles of us. There's only 2 gas stations within 20 miles of us. So I mean, it's we just have to be prepared. So, but anyways, y'all, I hope you guys found this informative. I know there's a lot of people that have recently moved to Florida that might not have been through a hurricane season yet. You know, I know a lot of people in other parts of the country are probably thinking, why even do this? You should just evacuate. It's not safe for your family. But, you know, not everybody can afford to evacuate. I mean, we're fortunate enough that we could afford to evacuate, you know, I mean, if we needed to every storm, but that's, you know, that's a big deal. And then 2, you know, so 1, not only can people not afford to evacuate, some people have issues getting back to their properties. And they, you know, some people would like to get back to their property to check it out quicker than, you know, the local officials will let them. And it's an issue. I know that the local governments are trying to watch out for everyone's safety, but, you know, you just got to think of yourself, put yourself if you're a homeowner, you got to put yourself in the shoes of someone down here. Right after a storm, you know, not only do you want to check up on storm damage, but you want to make sure no one's down here stealing your stuff either. So
Also, if something blows into your house, you could get mold
Yeah,
in
I
a
mean,
few
if you have a
days.
window
And if you
that's
can
been-
clean it out, then
Yeah,
you're
if you-
saving yourself all the hassle of getting all that mold remediation stuff.
yeah, I mean,
so.
the quicker you can get back and get cleaned up, the better. So I mean, you know, if you're wondering why don't people just evacuate for every storm? Well, then there's a third reason too, is that if you've lived in Florida long enough, you know, the media plays up every storm is the one that's going to just destroy all of Florida, and you know, it doesn't happen hardly ever. So, or not every time, and so people kind of grow wary of the reports, and it's unfortunate that false information's put out there, but sometimes it is. You know,
Sensational.
sensationalism sells, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So anyways, y'all, I hope you found this informative. You know, if you have any questions or comments, you know, feel free to ask in the comment section below.
We found that this is the best one.
Yeah, like I said,
we
we'll-
like it just simple and
We'll
easy.
probably use this one when the power first goes out. And then if it seems like it's going to be a long-term thing, what we do is we use this one. This will run our refrigerator, and it'll run one window unit. So we'll just camp out in one bedroom until the power comes back on with our refrigerator going. So,
It's kind of an adventure.
yeah, I guess. But, all right, y'all. I hope you found this informative. If you did, we'd appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to our channel. And until next time, everybody, take care.